All right, so Brock Purdy not playing, didn't play last week, didn't practice on Wednesday. He's clearly has a significant shoulder injury in the sense that he can't play right now. He's going for an extension. He'll be eligible in a couple of months. How do you see this playing out for him? It seems like the value of this potential contract extension fluctuates daily depending on whether he practiced or not. Like, how do you see this playing out?
So as far as the contract, is that we're just the contract getting into that and just his future?
Sure.
So yeah. It's interesting because, you got to look at it from both sides, because I do think in some aspects he's been the bright spot of the Niners. And you kind of saw it last week without him, like how much they need him. So I think it's one of the situations where maybe you do make an investment, you just let him get healthy this year. I mean, what's the point of throwing him out there in the snow this Sunday against a team you're probably going to get ran by? And he already has a weak arm, and now it's going to be even more hindered. So I think you got to take your time with him and just let him get right.
I mean, I don't know. Sage, how can you possibly say we can't throw Brock Purdy out in this game? If he's ready to go, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the Niner locker room. Like, Grant, I know you were there yesterday. Apparently only threw one check down. I mean, I don't know what the arm is, but I'm assuming that if nothing came up on the MRI, it was good. I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Brock Purdy. I was a baseball pitcher. I had like a same situation where you get the MRI. Oh, you didn't tear anything. Well, my arm hurts. They're like, okay, like we don't know what to do. So
that's a you problem. Get on the field, exactly, buddy.
I guess. Yeah. So I didn't pitch again, really. So we'll see. But when it comes to
Did you ever figure out what was wrong with your elbow, with your shoulder?
No, I mean, now I could still sling it, but I had to take maybe like a couple years off. I can still sling it. Sage, hey, come on now. I threw 70 in 7th grade. Come on. I didn't grow an inch, but we were all right. So
you had to take 2 years off for it to feel right?
Well, there was a combination of things. Quit baseball, but then like after about 2 years, started throwing again, just like messing around. It was good to go. But when it comes to the Niners, I mean, I think Brock Purdy's going to play this week. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Brock Purdy's going to play this week?
I think he's got to. This is the season. I mean, in all honesty, like, that it's Super Bowl or bust, right? It's Super Bowl or bust. Like Kyle, the pressure's on Kyle. You could feel it. He looks like Barack Obama at the end of his second term. The dude's graying.
Is Deebo Samuel talking like he thinks he's going to win this game? Have you heard him talk about this game? Wasn't he on his podcast talking about like if we lose in Buffalo, it's okay?
I've been able to listen to it. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, wasn't he on his podcast talking about if we lose in Buffalo, it's okay. We just got to win in our division. It's like, to me, this is a team that's looking like it's our second road trip in 2 weeks. We're exhausted. They're coming off a bye week. We're screwed. We'll just win the rest of the games. That's the vibe I'm getting from this team. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Did you guys pick up on that at all? Maybe I'm projecting.
So that's what I was kind of saying earlier, is that it seems like this is the first time I've ever seen that. They're kind of punting on this week. Like the media, the fans, everyone's punting on this week. I've never seen that with 49ers teams in the past. That's why I'm saying, like, why even play him? Like, it's going to be snowing. He has a weak shoulder. Like, what the fuck? He's going to get ran out there. Yeah, maybe they want to bring the price tag down.
And to me, it's like, sorry, Chase, real quick. If he has a shoulder or something and it's not on an MRI, but it could get worse and he gets hit and God forbid he needs surgery in the offseason. I mean, he just threw away the contract. It's gone and it may never come back. So I don't think as an agent, you can let your client do that because you get what? 10%? What is it? 15%? It's a lot.
Yeah, 10%.
A lot. Yeah.
And you look at the culture that's been built in the offseason. You hold out, you're going to get rewarded for it. So why should Brock risk himself out there when he's the lowest paid player on the team?
Yeah. Yep. You want me to play through this? Give me another Toyota sponsorship. I need another car. Actually, no, I want Bentley. I wouldn't even do it, though. I wouldn't do it. Do you think Brock Purdy is going to be this team's quarterback long-term?
I mean, I do.
Long-term.
Yeah, I think there's no way that the 49ers, after going through quarterback hell the entire Kyle Shanahan era, I mean, think about it. Blaine Gabbert, Brian Hoyer. I mean, we all tried to get around Jimmy, but when he went to the Raiders, that's when we found out the real Jimmy. Jimmy Garoppolo was a disaster. You did the Trey Lance experiment. You fell flat on your face. You even messed yourself up for the next 3 years because you gave up all those first-round picks. Brock comes in that Miami game, kills it, leads it to the NFC Championship game. I'm an optimist, but probably wins that game in Philadelphia if he plays. I mean, I know that Philadelphia team was tough. Next year, comes back, doesn't get surgery, so he can play in week 1, leads it all the way back to the Super Bowl, loses an OT to Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that's the Michael Jordan of your generation. You're like the Utah Jazz. I get it. But Kyle Shanahan has to trust that Brock Purdy's his guy. He brings a mobility aspect to the team. I know, Grant, I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, I'm not. What you're saying I agree with. I'm just saying, like, does Kyle Shanahan see it that way? I mean, Kyle Shanahan doesn't like any of his quarterbacks.
Kyle loves Brock.
You think so?
I think so. I think
because Sage, do you think Kyle? What do you think, Sage?
I don't know. I think Kyle loves himself. I just think anyone that's going to run his scheme, anyone who's going to do what he wants to do, and it seems like, I don't know, maybe with these scrambles, like Brock trying to like do more. I mean, Niner fans have been begging for it. Like you got the can, but can we audible at the line of scrimmage? Can we change the coverage? No. He has his feet to the fire a little bit here. Like people are kind of calling out his scheme for what it is, but he's just such a I'm gonna prove you wrong guy that I think he wants to go find another quarterback. I mean, Brock Purdy's going to be the 49ers quarterback if he wants to be. If he wants to make the money that Dak's getting, that Trevor Lawrence just got, he's not going to be the Niners quarterback. Why would they pay him? What incentive do they have to pay him that money for 4 or 5 years when your roster after this year, it's not even close to being a Super Bowl contender?
You remember 2020? It's like, this is the last Super Bowl hangover year. Jimmy Garoppolo injures his ankle week 2, week 3, misses a game, comes back, tries to play through it, doesn't go so well, shuts himself down for the final 8 games of the season. I can't prove it, but I kind of got the sense that Kyle thought that Jimmy should have come back for the final couple games. Kittle did, Jimmy Ward did, and I think Kyle held it against him. So we're talking right now like, hey, Brock, if you're a little hurt, there's a lot to risk, don't play. Kyle didn't like that when Jimmy did that because Jimmy made the same essentially choice. Like, I don't want to go out there. I don't want to hurt this worse. This team's going nowhere. I'm hurt. I'm not playing through this injury for you. If Brock does the same thing, would Kyle hold it against him and say to the front office, like, look, dude, I mean, this guy, he's good when he's healthy. That's what he said about Jimmy, right? He's good when he's healthy, but we can't depend on him. I need another quarterback just in case. And will they bring in someone else instead of giving Brock an extension? Like, look, we like you, but you've been hurt twice now. And we can't, in good faith, give you a 5-year extension. So we're going to let you stay, but we're also going to trade for Kirk Cousins. I think you guys can battle it out.
So I think
at the same time, 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. Just kidding.
I think you got to take history into it with Jimmy because he kind of like when he left New England, it was kind of, a little bitter. The players were calling him out. I think it was Martellus Bennett.
Yep.
Or Michael Bennett, whichever one played tight end.
They did. They said if he's not 100% healthy, he's not playing.
So I think he had some history there. Brock, I mean, God bless him. He tried to insert himself back. He got on the field actually in that NFC Championship game, right? And he couldn't even
finished it. He couldn't throw. It's true.
Yeah. So he's shown toughness. He's shown that he's willing to do it and that he is tough. I mean, he plays through anything. He still is, trying to prove himself.
I agree.
He doesn't take himself as
I'm not questioning his toughness. I'm wondering if Kyle would.
Oh my God. Yeah. I can't.
I'm not questioning his toughness for the record. You're right. But Kyle is so petty and he holds grudges. And if he feels like, hey man, you're making me look bad by not playing out there, and I think you could play because the MRI didn't show anything, and what are you doing? I don't know. Like, would he hold that against him? Or would he be like, it's cool. You made the right choice. Brandon Allen's good.
I think part, if you're Shanahan, you got to hold it against him. This is a must-win game. I mean, this is the NFL. How many people? I mean, look at Trent Williams. He's trying to play this week. He's rolling around on a scooter. He's rolling around on a scooter. Fred Warner has a fractured ankle.
Warner's playing on a broken ankle.
I mean, this is the NFL.
George Kittle's playing through 11 injuries, give or take.
That's what I mean. So, especially like if you're Shanahan, just thinking about on Sunday Night Football, playing for your season, having to call plays for Brandon Allen, that probably scares the shit out of him. So he's like, yeah, Brock.
You wanted him.
I mean, yeah, but all I'm saying is that I think he would hold it against Brock a little bit.
I agree.
But I think that any coach would. I think that any coach would, because look what happened with the Chargers earlier in the year. Justin Herbert had a high ankle sprain coming in the year. I think in past years probably would have just sat down. I think Jim Harbaugh was just like, hey, man, you got to be the leader of this team. You're the quarterback.
He got the bag. They took care of him.
Yep, that's the difference.
He hasn't been taken care of. This guy's made like $3 million in his career before taxes. If he messed up his shoulder permanently in the next game, man, he could be working at JCPenney's down the line. Not just stressing them.
I think that's a weird thing is that just nobody knows what's going on with this injury. There's just no information on it. You get no MRI read. I mean, I didn't know that there was
He
going
still
to be a
hasn't
shoulder
talked to
injury
the
coming out
media.
of that game.
He hasn't talked to the media since this happened. It'd be nice to get Brock in a press conference and say, hey, Brock, what is the injury? Because he might just say it. Like yesterday, we got Fred Warner and we're like, hey, is your ankle still hurt? And he was like, yes, great question. I've been waiting for someone because I didn't want to just go out and say it. But now that you asked, it's fractured and it's been fractured. And I have to go on the training table and they put this huge injection. It hurts. It's like, oh, I think maybe Brock might want to, or maybe Brock doesn't want us to know. Maybe he's like, dude, if people knew, I don't know. There's a lot of ways
Are they
this
going to
could
get
go.
fined for that? For just like not telling anybody that Fred Warner has a
Consistently this
fractured
year,
ankle?
they underreport injuries consistent. It's like, why is Brandon Allen not on the injury report anymore? He's wearing a splint. How is he off the injury report? I don't understand that.
And
Anyway,
Fred
the
Warner's
hockey
off the
coach.
injury report too, right?
who?
Fred Warner.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I don't
it's
understand
broken.
that. It's literally broken.
And you wonder why the schedule makers screw the Niners every year. It's like you do little things like this that are like I don't think the league likes.
Yeah, you cry
As a
about
they
gambler,
do.
I
the
don't
fields and
appreciate
everything.
that. As a gambler,
The
I don't
Super Bowl when they were complaining about the practice facility that the league provided them. Don't do that. If you believe in conspiracies, don't do that. Obviously, don't do that. Just be like, this is the greatest practice facility. It's so generous. Thank you very much, NFL, for treating us so well.
What was the
Let's
one with
talk
the
about-
Eagles game, the Eagles-Chiefs game? The Sodfather? Did you hear about that one?
What?
Look that one up. So apparently the guy who did the grass for the Super Bowl in the Eagles-Chiefs game has always been the Chiefs guy. And the Eagles were not ready for the grass. We're slipping all over the field. Look that up. The Sodfather.
I'm telling you, they're gamesmanship.